Okay, well, hello men. Welcome. So I decided to do this just for men tarot, essentially, because and I'll get to the point, men. I will try and not ramble on. I'm even going to put a timestamp in for you so that you don't have to watch me shuffle and you can just jump right to the reading. But I was looking at my demographics for the first time of the channel so far, and I looked and I saw that men were above 25%. So I was kind of surprised. I was like, oh, that's a little bit more average or above average for men. And then I did a double take because it's 34% women. It's 65% men, and I have no idea why that is. But men, if you're interested in some tarot readings, I figure I'm going to make some specific for you. So this is how you messed up and how you can fix it. Okay. We're going to give this a try. So first I want to know how you messed up, like what you actually did. Oops. Ace of Swords. So that's usually some kind of truth. There's a Queen of Swords. Oh, you pissed somebody off with that truth. Or maybe you were in the Queen of Swords. I'm not sure. Okay. And that closed out a cycle for you. That's the World card. Okay, so now you're in it looks like Two of Swords energy. So you're not quite seeing how you can recover on this situation, and you kind of feel like you're limited in your options. Okay, so I'm going to get some clarifying cards for what this truth was. This truth was, it was either about spying or you saw some truth when you were spying. Okay, there's a King of Swords in play now. Okay, Five of Pentacles out in the cold. Okay, so this didn't end on well. Okay, and the Two of Wands. All right, guys. So, yeah, so a truth came out. And it has to do with spying. Someone either got spooked while they were spying, or you got caught spying, and that's that puts you in a really defensive kind of state. There's then the Queen of Swords clarified by the King of Swords. And so the swords are about communication. And so this basically looks like Queen of Swords is kind of like that bitchy cutoff energy, is like, it's really throwing out those words and saying, in a cutting way. And so King of Swords kind of has the reputation for, being a little bit more, I guess, quiet than the Queen of Swords, but he can still, he's in this card, he's cutting off the dragon's head. And his sword is covered with blood. So it looks like you shed some blood too. She has her knife out in this card, but the King's sword already has blood on it. So it looked like you were kind of in a position of, you were having words thrown at you. You were feeling really defensive. And so you came back and said something really, really cutting, something that really hurt them. And so then it shows the World card. So that ended a cycle with you guys, and it left someone out in the cold. And I'm guessing it's you here, guys. So the Two of Swords clarified by the Two of Wands is basically feeling stuck in a situation like you don't have any good options And maybe that your only option and decision was to leave and, you know, look and see if there's more in the world for you, right? I'm going to pull one more card for each. Okay, King of Cups. I mean, and I'm guessing if you're here that you do want to know how to repair this situation. Okay, so the King of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles. And this is guidance for you guys, because, I mean, you know, the King of Cups, I'm actually going to look into this a little bit more. I mean, my thought is to say that, you know, when this first came out, my instinct was that this might be another person, now competition for you, because there's a King of Cups here. And that's more of a romantic kind of guy, you know, maybe a little bit of a smooth talker. And in fact, let me pull out some cards here. I want to clarify, you know, you as the King of Swords, and then who this is, if this is you or someone else. Okay, you first. Mature woman. And I mean, your Queen of Swords is right there. Or this could have been something about your mom. This interaction could have been, just keep that in mind, that this conflict and this truth coming out and these words that were exchanged, that could have been between you and their mom, or them and your mom, or you and your mom. Okay. Courthouse. So this could also involve a legal situation for you guys, and that makes sense with the swords as well. Okay, so the King of Cups, I want to clarify. Ooh. Gift came out in reverse. It jumped out. Main female, and this is, okay. Death. Unexpected income. Okay. Let me then pull a couple more cards. All right. Yeah, guys, I mean, I got to be honest, this is looking like another person in this situation coming in to steal your girl. I mean, yeah. You know, take this how this resonates for you. And if none of this makes sense, then ignore it. Then it's not your reading. It's not for you. You know, but this showing up this could just be like a really complicated family situation, that's caused some sort of split between you and the person that you're inquiring about. So I get why you need some guidance on how to fix this. Because if you're not wanting to lose this person, yeah, there is someone on the outside. And I get the sense from these cards that that they're sort of long gaming this. Because I see main female here, you know, and this King of Cups here, he's, you know, he's got some swagger on him, right? He's holding some flowers. I mean, so this is like a super, you know, charming type of guy. And main female, gift in reverse, coffin, unexpected income. It almost looks like he's taking advantage of kind of like her emotional, you know, state right now. So this could be somebody who was a friend of theirs, prior to you guys splitting. And you were always maybe kind of like suspicious of like this guy's like intentions. Like, yeah, they were always just friends, but you just kind of felt like if if this guy had a chance to make a move, that like that he would do that. So let us get some guidance for you guys on if this is your situation that I described, what you can do to repair it. Queen of Cups. And ooh, that's interesting. Ace of Pentacles. Page of Cups. The Emperor. Okay. I'm going to start right off here. Actually, no, I will put out some clarifiers, but this is a really clear message to me. The Sun. The Five of Cups. Okay, yeah, that helps. Five of Swords. Okay. And the Devil. Okay. All right. So yeah, this is really, really clear guidance for you guys. And I want to try and do this in a way to help walk you through what you're being asked to do if you want to, reconnect with this person. So basically, like I said, it showed you guys here in this King and Queen of Swords energies with each other. So, and that does show me you guys as a pair and as a partnership, that's the energies that you guys were operating in. Now, this guy coming in from the outside, he is in a King of Cups energy. And so when now she's showing up as the Queen of Cups. So the difference between these energies is the Queen of Cups is someone who has been hurt. She's been through some shit. Okay. And so she's can be a little bit more colder and kind of more detached with her emotions and get to that like cutoff energy and point. And especially if she just feels like this seems at all similar to like stuff I've been through before and you know it, right? Like women do expect you to have that kind of emotional awareness of like, maybe you've never done this particular thing to me before, man, but you know that I've been through this and you know that it looks like this. You know what I mean? That's kind of the energy that she's giving, because she has that expectation that you like remember her triggers, right? And that's a part, men, of emotional intimacy, is like having an awareness of the ways in which your partner has been hurt before, and not necessarily tiptoeing around them, but having the sensitivity to know if this particular thing is really going to trigger her. And if it is, going into that conversation, like if you know that something you did or said or whatever is going to be a trigger to your partner, essentially, you want to take your time and plan and strategize before going into that conversation, if at all possible. Because you're going to have to shape that in such a way that you do, take accountability for, maybe not remembering that in that moment. Women can forgive stuff, right? But it's, you've got to acknowledge that accountability and apologize. And I'm getting, we'll get down the road here. But so anyway, this Queen of Cups energy though, is now she's kind of, this connection she has with this person is much more emotionally connective, in terms of this person having like an awareness of those boundaries and sensitivities. This is probably a person who's taken her side a lot as well. And so, maybe in some instances in the past, like they felt like you didn't take their side. You didn't stand up and support them. And I have to give a message here too. you don't always, I mean, there's a difference between being like a doormat for someone and agreeing with everything that they say just to support them, and supporting someone in such a way, this is the counter option, supporting someone in such a way where you support them and the space in between you, regardless of whether or not you support their actions or decisions. Do you see what I mean? So, because we all mess up at points, and when someone does mess up, what a partnership wants to hear is basically like, hey, we definitely have a difference of opinion on these things, but like, regardless of your opinion, I still love and support you. Do you guys see what I mean? You don't have to say like, hey, that stupid thing that you did was totally great and right. But you just have to say that like, I love you no matter what, even though I don't agree with you. That's still providing emotional intimacy in that conflict. So have an awareness of that kind of energy, because essentially what I'm telling you here, guys, is that is what she wants more of and is looking for more of, is that emotional awareness from you guys. So because that's what's bringing her happiness at this moment. And I'm guided to say too, that to remind you this, I get the sense that this is someone that you've been in a relationship for quite a long time. This isn't a new relationship. This is, maybe you guys have been married for a long time, or whatever, in a committed relationship for a long time, or in each other's lives. But people change and grow and evolve. And I do feel like, sometimes as a man, you're not actively looking towards that. You guys, emotionally in relationships, you can get to a certain sense of crossing the finish line. You know what I mean? You get locked in with, you have very simple needs, right? In terms of that relationship. You basically just want peace. And, you want someone that you get along with well, someone that's fun and supportive or whatever. But then when you find that person, you guys can, to a degree, kind of check out. And if you have done that, I mean, ask yourselves and be honest. Have I done that? And how can I do better? Right. And so because she may have had also simpler needs earlier on in the relationship, but she's grown and evolved to this point where now she's really connecting more from, she wanted to have good communication with you. And maybe that was something that you guys were good at, but maybe it was more about like the 3D stuff, like managing the house, the kids, all of that. And so now she wants to have some more of that like emotional intimacy with you. And guys, I'm saying emotional intimacy, because the sex may not have been the problem here. And in fact, I'm not really seeing that. What I'm seeing is that's what she wants, is that understanding and emotional consideration of her boundaries, as well as in ways that you can support her, like actively, thinking about and identifying, is the dishwasher clean and can I unload it for her, right? It can even be these small things. So this Ace of Pentacles here with the 5 of Cups. So what I'm seeing with that is in order to build a foundation, essentially you have to focus on those cups. Because if you don't focus on and sorry guys, this is more of a tarot thing, cups are emotions. If you don't focus on her emotions and have that awareness for yourself, and guys, I know you can do it. I know you can do it when you want to do it, right? And that's what I'm talking about with the checked out part, is because when you were dating this person, you absolutely could see like if they were pissed off coming from a mile away, or you had the awareness and the sensitivity to know that like, oh, don't do this thing. Hey dude, don't do this thing. Don't make this post, or, don't have me in it, because I know this is going to trigger her and set her off. Right. But then a lot of times as you become more comfortable with the person, you sort of can, ease back over their boundaries. Do you see what I mean? You knew that those were things that bothered her in the beginning. And then just as you've gotten more comfortable, you're like, hey, we have that space to be like that now with each other. But in some ways, yeah, she might not bite your head off for it at this point, but that doesn't mean she likes it. Do you get what I'm saying? So think back to those boundaries and stuff that were at the beginning that you've really kind of like, as time has gone by in this relationship, drifted over and kind of you've crossed that median line. And maybe nobody said anything, but that kind of stuff can build up these resentments over time that then aren't addressed. And again, that kind of diminishes that emotional intimacy you have with her. So you can't neglect those emotions. In terms of a reconciliation here, what it's saying with the Five of Swords is to make sure that, like, if you try talking this out, there's actually two pieces of advice here. If you try talking this out and going in for a reconciliation, don't come at it deceptively. Be straightforward. Also, don't try and like make it about winning, because often what's going to happen when you go back in for a reconciliation, and you want to patch things up. Here's the thing. Those can often go sideways if one or more people is not actively trying to manage that conversation. Now, manage is different than manipulate, guys. Here's managing a conversation is if you go in and this is about a reconciliation and you start off by saying like, hey, can we talk? I don't want this to end here. I want to talk to you. And then you start talking. She says, what do you want? Right? Probably says, what do you want? And then which already kind of puts you in a defensive position. And I've seen this before where even though the guy wants the reconciliation, he'll come at you with that defensive energy of like, well, I just don't think it was right that, you're mad at me about, X, Y, and Z. And what that is going to do, guys, is it's going to re-trigger that argument, okay? Because when you come at it from that defensive energy, she's going to mirror that from you. So by managing the conversation is you're not going to get in the weeds. You have to direct it. You have to direct and guide that conversation. And so that is about getting back to a space here. And where was it? But basically of having that emotional awareness of her in this situation, taking that accountability on and saying, essentially, starting the conversation by saying, listen, I know you're upset with me because I did this, right? Call out what she's mad at you about, because that will, I promise you guys, it will make her so happy. A, that she has an acknowledgement, and B, that you even know what the fuck it is about. Because a lot of times there is frustration from women of like where you guys don't even know. Or I don't know. I think sometimes you come in pretending like you don't know so that you can feign, or because you just want to so badly say that it was a mistake, that's why you're saying you don't even know. I know you know. Okay. So just acknowledge that right from the get-go and say like, hey, I know this is why you're mad. And then direct it by saying like, but here are the things that I value in our relationship. I want to understand your perspective on how I could have done better in that situation. Do you see what I mean? Because that's how you're going to guide this. If you start focusing on the details and the facts of what happened in the past, you're not going to go anywhere. You're just going to spin and there's going to be no reconciliation. Okay. But if you focus on basically taking accountability, acknowledging what the break was between you guys, then saying why the person is important to you and why you want to make an effort, or how you're willing to make an effort to do that, as well as then asking for feedback. Because when you ask for feedback, that's going to give her an opportunity to enter the conversation, right? And basically, like, and then she's going to feel like you're listening to her. You know what I mean? You're asking her, what are your needs in this conversation, and how can we resolve it? Because you guys can do that. If you don't know the answer and how to fix it, you can actually ask for the answer. I know that probably blows your mind, right? But you can ask, like, hey, how can we fix this? What can I do? Like, you know, understanding the core wound that you inflicted on her and asking those questions of that. Like, why did it upset you so badly that I did this? Because from my perspective, this is what I felt like I was doing, right? So asking for their perspective. That's the best way to manage a situation if you want that conflict resolution at the end of it. These next cards here, the Emperor and the Devil, basically, it's also to remind you that there's a distinction between a guy having Emperor energy. That's what you want to be in. That is a guy who has his shit together, and he has that masculine energy of basically being his partner's, defender and protector. Again, that doesn't mean agreeing with someone, and not speaking your truth in it, but it's giving her a safe space to disagree with you, right? That's what an Emperor does. It's like, even though we disagree, I still love you. Or even though we disagree, like, can we come to a compromise, that works for both of us in some ways? That's Emperor energy, as the guy who can sort of emotionally take charge of a situation, not physically. So that's the caution here, is because the Devil is clarifying it, is you may have a tendency to want to physically control a situation, to show your dominance through yelling or through, saying like, basically putting your foot down and saying like, this is the answer. This is how it's going to happen. Not budging on things, or once you've gone in and made a mistake, not wanting to back down and admit fault for your behavior. Those are Devil energies. Those are more controlling and the distorted masculine energy. So keep in mind that what she is looking for and what this situation is looking for is an emotional awareness and understanding of your partner's perspective, as well as their ideas for a solution. Because whoever this person is, that is how, because you guys have a lot of history here. You guys have a lot of history. I think this is the only thing really, for the most part, that's lacking, is it does look like at some point you kind of got loose with her boundaries and maybe became a little emotionally lazy, guys. And so that's what she needs to see a resurgence in, is the awareness of her, like you had in the beginning, right? And respect for her boundaries and consideration for her perspective. That's what she wants out of you guys. Okay. I think that's it. I'm going to keep it, shorter than possible. Oh, you know what? Let's get some messages though, real quick from her in this situation. But I won't pull guidance cards because this whole section is guidance. I feel ashamed for how I treated you. You did not deserve that. And yeah, so because like I said, I saw her in the Queen of Swords energy here. She probably said some pretty harsh stuff to you too. And so she may want an opportunity. And so here's the other thing to understand. By being the first to apologize, you are giving her, now she doesn't have to, right, come back and apologize, but it does give her the emotional space to ultimately show up with an apology for you as well. That's the kind of thing, again, that's a leader, behavior. If you want apologies, you have to be willing to give them. I struggle with revealing my true feelings and emotions. Okay, and so this, yeah, because she's been in the Queen of Swords emotions too, and I think that can be the disconnect for her, is now if she's evolved and moved into a space where she realizes she does have sort of these more softer or more sensual kind of emotions. Maybe there's something going on with either, like a change in her sexual energy as well. And because of a past dynamic with you, who she was in kind of that previous version of herself, it may be hard for her to connect with you at the same time on that same level, because that's not who both of you were previously. But now she's evolved into this energy, and she kind of doesn't know how to explain to you that, like, I want different things now, and maybe that's like sexually she's interested in different things. And because you guys have, kind of gotten into a routine that you've had for a long time, she doesn't know how to cross that bridge with you. I'm remembering a conversation where a guy was actually talking to me about this, like with regards to his wife. And, he was telling me that for him, those, and I gave him this advice. I said, dude, like, she may be interested in that too, but, it is kind of scary that after like a long time with someone that, that you almost feel like you may encounter some shame or questions about like, well, why all of a sudden are you into kind of like rough porn, right? Like, why are you into that? And they may not know how, want to answer that. Like, they might not want to say like, well, cause I secretly watch that kind of stuff. Like, when I'm by myself, they may not want to say that. And so I would suggest to you guys that, the best way to reconnect on issues like that is honestly, because it looks like you guys aren't either, it doesn't look like you guys are together at the moment. But regardless of whether or not you are together, okay, I would basically kind of get back to some dating. And I know that sounds weird, right? Especially if you guys are married or, you're kind of separated or whatever. But like, get back to that beginning point, because that's also where you can reconnect about stuff like this. I know it sounds stupid, but like, go on a date with her as if, and ask her, like, I want to pretend like we haven't, known each other. Like, this is our first date. Like, let's do that. And, or I don't know, if you guys don't, sometimes men don't like my suggestions like that. But there are also, the other thought that comes to mind is there are like games that you can play. Like, they make games like that right now. So you can go on like Amazon or whatever and search for like dating games, partner games, marriage games, right? And there are kind of games like that can basically like trigger conversations between you and your partner about, that kind of stuff. But ask again, your partner holds the key to this. And so at some point you do have to be brave enough to actually ask those kinds of questions. Because that is super hard. I totally get that. If you've been in a relationship with someone for a long time and then your needs and desires, with your partner have changed, but you just don't know how to tell your partner about that. Yeah, that's difficult, but I can tell you this, if you don't, this is where it ends up, right? Is you kind of just slowly drift further away from each other, that emotional intimacy dissipates, and then you kind of don't know how to get back to where you were. So that's the advice and guidance for getting back to the beginning is, just come straight forward. Don't play any games. Come out with an apology, tell the person, take accountability for what happened between you guys. Tell this person why you want to work on things. And then, maybe say some ideas at some point, don't jump in with this, but of how you want to work on things. Like, let me take you out on a date. Let's get to know each other again, because, you know, make that acknowledgement and awareness that, like, you know, I think we've kind of both gone into like autopilot at some point in our relationship. And like, we can get that back. Like, we can reconnect if we want. And so like, let's give ourselves a chance to do that. Okay, I think that's it, guys. I know you all aren't going to comment and tell me if you like this or not, but please at least like it, because I can't see who likes what, so nobody can. So you can at least like it, okay, guys? That'll let me know that you want to see more of this content for men. Okay, have a great weekend, guys. Bye.